Om. 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Harihi Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Harihi Om. My humble pranams to all Atma Jyotis, divine light of the self. I welcome all of you to today's session of Yoga Vashishta. I am conducting this study hour so that I learn. I am not a guru, I am not a jnani, I am not a pandita. I am reading from a book and trying to understand, and if it helps you, well and good. I am reading from a book, Yoga Vasishta, published by Ramakrishna Matham. It is in Telugu language. I am reading from it and I am speaking in English. If there are any mistakes, the mistakes are mine. The mistakes will not be there in the original work. I own up all the mistakes. Please forgive me. Let us see what chapter we will study today. We are studying Mumukshu Vyavahara Prakarana. In that, we are studying chapter number 17, Victory over Mind. Sage Vashishta is saying, O people, moksha or liberation is not possible by accumulating a lot of wealth, by accumulating a lot of relatives and friends, by doing many pilgrimages, living in holy places, performing many rituals and karma, and doing upavasa, fasting, and other austerities. Moksha you cannot get like this. Then how will one get moksha, liberation? Listen, I'll tell you. Moksha is possible only through Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasa. Shravanam means listening to the teachings of a Sadguru about the true nature of the self, Atma Jnana, Atma Swarupa, Swaswarupa of Atma. One should listen to the teaching from Sadguru. Also, Mananam, knowing the essence of the teaching of the Sadguru by remembering it, contemplating on it, remembering it, the teaching, again and again, playing it in your mind and trying to understand it is Mananam. Doing the introspection, inquiry as per the teaching of Sadguru. It is Mananam. And Nididhyasa. one should contain their mind going into different directions and contemplating on the nature of the self like akhandatvam, nityatvam, sarvatvam, aprameyatvam, all these qualities of the self one should bring to their mind. Self is eternal, unborn, pure, unattached. All these qualities one should remember all the time and contemplate on it and think about it. Having constant thinking about the nature of the self and knowing that I am that self. This is nididhyasa. And by the Purusha Prayatna, the effort one puts in this manner regarding the subject of Atma Jnana, through this only you can conquer the mind. What is the way told by sage Vashishta? Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasa. This is the only way. Through this, mind can be conquered. Manas, the mind, will then is filled with Brahma Rasa, the essence of Brahman. Brahma Rasa. The mind is filled with Brahma Rasa and equanimity will be there in the mind. Such a mind, if you attain, then all of you are capable of enjoying the Shuddha Sattva nature of yourself. And all of you attain equanimity and you will shine as Brahman. That Brahmasthiti, the state of Brahman, is the goal of all spiritual seekers. In fact, it is the goal of all the people, not only spiritual seekers. It should be the goal for all. Everybody are qualified for this. Whether the jiva knows this or knows not, all his efforts are for the bliss of the self only. For example, if there is a worldly object to which the mind is desires, why does the mind desire? Because it wants fulfillment. So, when it gets an object, the mind is settles down and the jiva experiences the bliss of the self. But the jiva mistakes the bliss of the self is acquired by acquiring the object. That is the mistake the jiva makes. Therefore, the jiva will constantly try to acquire different objects. So, all the efforts of the people to acquire happiness, and happiness is the nature of the self. Happiness comes from the self. Without knowing this, people are running after the objects. Therefore, what Sage Vasishta is saying is the entire efforts of the people to be happy actually is for the bliss of the self, but without their knowledge. And this knowledge that true happiness comes from the self is not known to the jiva, it is forgotten by the Maya Shakti. Maya has a Shakti called Avarana Shakti. Because of the Avarana Shakti covering, Avarana means covering Shakti, Jiva is not able to recognize his or her true nature as happiness, as bliss. And the jiva will always be after acquiring newer and newer objects, thinking that by acquiring the object I will be happy, and not knowing where happiness is coming from. Jiva is caught in the Maya Avarana Shakti. And because of this, the jiva is unfulfilled. As soon as one desire is fulfilled, no doubt for a momentary moment, the jiva experiences the bliss of the self, but it is lost. And jiva will try for another object. Till such time, there will not be any fulfillment. And this goes on and on and on. Therefore, the jiva will never be fulfilled, will always be unfulfilled. Purnatva is not experienced, fullness is not experienced. It is saying like the jiva, the person, his desires, whether fulfilled or not fulfilled, it is like a bottomless pit. It can never be fulfilled. This unfulfillment, this dissatisfaction is because Jiva is not aware of the Atma Sthiti, of his or her true nature. True nature of a person is Atma. Atma is bliss. Atma is Ananda. Atma is peace. This is not known to the Jiva. And the Brahmapada, which is the state of Brahman or the Atma Jnana, Kevala Sthiti, Kevala Sthiti or Samadhana Sthiti, all are equivalent terms. This can be got only by vicharana, enquiry into one's true nature. With enquiry only, one should inquire into their true nature and recognize what is there, their true nature. That alone is capable of removing the dissatisfaction which everybody experiences. And to do inquiry, one should have viveka, uttama viveka, a very subtle mind, a sharp mind, sharp intellect, and a discerning mind, discerning intellect, viveka, wisdom, to see what is there, what is my true nature. One has to inquire. For that, viveka is necessary. And viveka in the world, if you want to attain something higher, you have to let go of something lower. For example, if a student wants to study well and get good marks in the exam, he has to make certain sacrifices. He should not go to movies. He should not spend too much time in playing, wasting time. He should be disciplined and focused, goal oriented, and spend time on studying. Similarly, a person who is focused on Brahmapada, on liberation, moksha, should not waste time in the worldly affairs. In the world, it is seen, it is known that to achieve something higher, you have to sacrifice something lower. Therefore, the peaceful state, the blissful state, the Brahmapada, those who try for that, they should let go of worldly pleasures, which are nothing but which will give sorrow in the end. The worldly attractions, sensory pleasures has to be sacrificed and try for Brahmapada. And such people make lot of effort in spiritual seeking, spiritual practices, and they sit in a comfortable sitting position, in a good sitting position, comfortable sitting position, relax their mind, and do contemplation and inquiry into the truth of the matters. What is self? What am I? Who am I? One will inquire into the nature of the self, and they use their sharp intellect to discern, to know, to inquire, to inspect themselves. And such inspection, inquiry, careful analysis one does and attains Brahmapada and attain, go beyond all suffering. And in the coming chapters, I am going to explain about what is that inquiry they are going to do. O Rama, sage Vashishta is saying, O Rama, there are many sages in this assembly, in the king's assembly. There are many sadhus, saints. All of them are aware of the Brahmapada. Many of them have attained by carefully following the Shravana, Manana, Nitidhyasa and inquiry, Vichara Marga, and they attained lasting peace. All of them know the importance of Atmajnana. They have experienced lasting peace and they know that the bliss of self is elixir. It is lasting peace. There is no end to the peace of self. I am going to collate the opinions, the theories of many jnanis, many wise people, and in the coming chapters, in the future discourse, I am going to give quote from their works. O Rama, O son, no doubt in this world there are many pleasant things, but all of them are temporary. One day they will be destroyed. In a mirage, in a desert, you see water, but it is not sufficient, it is not enough to quench your thirst. Similarly, even though in the world there are many pleasant things, they will never make you 100% satisfied. They will not give you lasting satisfaction because all of them are temporary. No doubt they are pleasant. They will give some pleasure, but the pleasure has an end. It will end sometime. In the three worlds, in the earth, heaven, and the netherworld, there is no thing that can give you a real lasting peace. Therefore, with the help of inquiry, make your mind peaceful. Conquer your mind because mind has a tendency to generate new desires. If you conquer your mind and if you put an end to desires, then you will experience peace. This is the highest goal. By conquering the mind, one will experience the bliss of the self. To do that, wisdom has to bloom, wisdom has to shine, viveka has to bloom. Through viveka, wisdom, sharp intellect, the peace of mind, the supreme bliss, Atma Padam, will be attained. Who are qualified for Atma Jnana? Every being is qualified for Atma Jnana, whether they are human or angels or demons. Everybody are qualified for Atma Jnana. Atma is the true nature of everyone, including angels, humans, and demons. There is no discrimination that only a person born in such and such family or race or a sex or a nation can be qualified for Atmajnana. Everybody are qualified to receive Atmajnana. It is not our intention or opinion to restrict this knowledge to only few people. Reading this book, Yoga Vashishta, is equivalent to the meditation on Atma. Moreover, to do Atma Vicharana, all you have to do is sit comfortably, close your eyes, and introspect about yourself. There is no money involved, there is no effort involved. It's very easy. There is no effort involved in this. A person who has done Atma Vichara and attained Atma Jnana Mukti, such a person attains to the bliss of the self, Atma, Atma Shanti, and the mind of that person is blissful, peaceful, pure, holy, without any delusions, without any effort, effortless, and without any desires. A person who has attained to Atma Jnana will not have the disease called, oh, I am not able to enjoy such and such thing in the world. Such kind of disease will not be there in a person who has Atma Jnana. And some people think they don't like something in their life. They'll say, oh, this thing has to be removed from my life. Only then I can be happy. This kind of thinking will not be there in a Atmajnani. An Atmajnani will not be obstinate, he will not be obsessed with anything, he will not be hating anything, or too much attraction to anything will not be there. Because an Atmajnani knows that everything is temporary. He knows the difference between what is truth and what is false. If something is there which is uncomfortable, Atmajnani knows, yes, this is uncomfortable, but it has a beginning and end. It will end soon. And it will be replaced by another pleasant thing, maybe another unpleasant thing. But Atmajnani knows, yes, this may be pleasant, but it has a beginning and end. It comes and goes. I am the witness of both the pleasant thing and the unpleasant thing. Every experience comes and goes. I will wait patiently. And an Atmajnani does not delude himself that I am the doer. I did this thing. I am the doer of this thing. Because an Atmajnani knows that it is the body that does the things, and Atmajnani is not the body. Atmajnani is the self, is the spirit, is the Chaitanya, is the consciousness. Consciousness, Atma is Akarta. It is not the doer. It is the body that does the work. Body is part of the Prakriti, Jadapadartha, and Atmajnani knows that I am consciousness, I am Shivaswarupi, I am Akarta. Since the Atmajnani knows that I am Akarta, Atma is Akarta, I am Atma, I am not a Karta. Therefore, the phala of the karma will not accrue to that Atmajnani. O Rama, look at the sky, look at the sun in the sky. Does sun like or dislike anybody? Does sun say, I will shine only on this people, I will not shine on this people? Sun will not say like that. Sun is equal towards saint and sinner. Similarly, Atmajnani also does not gather anything or does not reject anything. Whatever comes, he will accept. Whatever goes, he will say goodbye. Atmajnani will not be perturbed by anything, any happening. But Atmajnani will not be lazy. He will be an efficient worker. He will use the tool called body, mind, and intellect for the welfare of the world. Now, Sage Vasishta is saying, now we will listen to a story of a king. The name of the king is Moksha, liberation. The king's name is liberation, Moksha. And that king has bodyguards called Shama, control of mind, Vicharana, enquiry of the true self, Santosha, contentment, Satsanga, company of the holy people. These are the bodyguards of the king called liberation. Who are the bodyguards? Shama, control of the mind, pacified mind, Vicharana, enquiry of the mind, Santosha, contentment of the mind, Satsanga, company of the holy people. These are the four bodyguards of the king called liberation. Let us enquire about that king in the coming chapter. With this, chapter number 17 comes to an end. Hari Om Tat Sat, Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. See you in the next session.